Hello everyone, welcome to my third video on Vedic geometry. Now this is a third on my series on talks of ancient India, science, culture, architecture, traditions. Now these are the values I bring forth in my paintings. Now I will be talking to you about Vedic geometry. What exactly is Vedic geometry? While I was training my children to draw a circle freehand, they really found it difficult and they were struggling. So that led me think that how did the ancient architectures and sculptures made such lovely designs using basic tools. They didn't even have those precise tools that we have. No compasses and others. And in fact, the ancient temples of India are so beautifully carved. They are well sought out all over the world, and they have a unique architecture, and they are still existing today. So, my study of Vedic geometry is about the Shilpa Shastras, which are a body of knowledge which talks about how the temple needs to be constructed, the art architecture there, about the metallurgy that is used there, and they were mentioned in Shilpa Shastras in Sanskrit slokams. I will talk to you also about yantras, that is the worship of the Lord Lalita Parmeshwari in a very simple geometrical design form. So let me first tell you about what is a unit of measurement these ancient Indian architects followed. They used to follow what is called as an angola. An angola is 32 sesame seeds lined in a row, and that 32 sesame seeds forms what is called one angola. Now this one angola has been used as a unit of measurement. Now you will ask me why sesame seeds? Maybe because that is the ancient Indian grains. That is one of the oldest grain that has been used for making oil. So that was a unit of measurement in those times. Now let me tell you how they made a circle. It was very simple. They didn't have compasses, but they had a stick. They had a stick. Now they dug the stick in the ground. They tied a rope to the stick, and they tied a nail at the end of the stick. Now with this stick stuck to the ground as a center, and this rope being the radius of the circle, you can easily make a circle all around it. So this method of drawing circles is still used by artists till today. Now when they had a circle, now let's see how they constructed a perfect square, and that square was aligned to the four cardinal directions: north, south, east and west. I will tell you about this by this diagram. Let us say they made that stick, and they put it on the ground, and then they did it before the sunrise. They made the circle before the sunrise. Now when the sun was in the sunrise, when sun rose, the shadow of the stick fell on the opposite side, and the shadow was long. It protruded outside the circle, and midday the shadow was small. Again at sunset the shadow was long, and the shadow protruded outside the circle. So what happened was they could join the points where the shadows met the circle. Those 2 points they joined, and that they gave the direction for the east and west. Now based on those directions, east and west, let us see. Say this is the east point, so taking 10 angola as a diameter of the circle, they constructed a simple circle. Now when you measure east and west, that is 10 angola, half of that, which is 5 angola, and a line which is exactly perpendicular to this line, they took that point as a center, and they constructed another circle. On the west, They took it as a center, they constructed the third circle, and on the perpendicular point, which is exactly opposite to this first point, they made the fourth circle. The point where these two adjacent circles meet, that point they joined, they called it A, B, C, and D. Now this, when you join these 4 points, you get a perfectly formed square. Now this is very ancient, primitive geometry, but incredibly precise. And all these steps were mentioned in the Shilpa Shastras, where the sculptors followed that and they made precise structures, precise temples, walls, pillars, and so on. Now, which is still it's a marvelous thing to behold till today. Then the next part, I'm talking to you about the yantras. The yantras are simple geometrical designs which a person draws to meditate on his deity. I have given you a simple design of a yantra over here. This is a very simple yantra design. So they have deities at different four vertex. They have different deities, and a person meditating on this use the mantra for his meditational practices. Now, I'm not talking about meditation here. What I'm talking about is a geometric behind the construction of these perfectly formed yantras. Now, this was very precise, and these yantras are still found on the ceilings of the temples or on the floors. So, isn't this very fascinating? And it is so interesting that I would love to do more and more research on this. Thank you for joining me on my Instagram account, and I sign off, Rashmi Ghosh. See you next time on Thursday.